everyone. I, Suvarna Muzumdar, Assistant Professor in Electronics and Communication Department, welcomes you on lecture on 8086 microprocessor. Why we are going for this 8086 microprocessor? Because there are the limitations of 8085 microprocessor. In last few lectures, we have discussed about the architecture of 8085, its instruction set and its applications also. But 8085 has some disadvantage, or we can say the limitations. The first and foremost limitation of 8085 microprocessor is low speeds of execution. It processes the data on 8-bit. It is an 8-bit processor. So, we can say that it is a low speed of execution. It has limited general purpose registers. As we all know, 8085 has only 6 general purpose registers. So, if we need to store more data, then it is very difficult in case of 8085. And also the memory addressing capability. 8085 you can access only 64 kilobyte of memory, as it has only 16 address lines, 16-bit address lines. So, it can access 2 raised to power 16, that is 64 kilobyte of memory. So, if our program is of high size, then capacity is more, then in that case this is the limitation with 8085. We are not able to execute more program on 8085. And also the instruction set, it is a low powerful instruction set, or we can say less powerful instruction set, because we don't have a multiplication or division and many more instructions in 8085. We have some limited set of instruction in 8085. So, to overcome these disadvantage of or limitation of 8085, 8086, that is the first 16-bit microprocessor, was launched in 1978. And it improves the speed over 8-bit microprocessor, as it is a 16-bit processor. And it also have a large number of general purpose registers. We can see in detail what all the general purpose register and special registers available in 8086. And as it is a 16-bit processor, it can access also 1 megabyte memory, because it has 20 address lines. So, 20 address lines will help, will give an accessibility to 1 megabyte of memory. It is more processing capability, it has more processing capability, and also it is programming flexibility is there. And there are many more advantage over 8085. Now, the features of 8086, as I told you, it is a 16-bit microprocessor. So, 16-bit microprocessor, so it has 16-bit data line. So, it can read a data or write a data into a memory, or from a memory, or from a port, 16-bit data, as well as it can write 8-bit data at a time. Means if we want, we can access 8-bit data. If we want, we can access 16-bit data. It has 20 address lines, so it can access 2 raised to power 20 memory location, that is 1 megabyte memory location. It can support 64 kilo IO port. Why 64 kilo? Because it has 16-bit lines, which we are using as a IO, if we are going with IO mapped IO configuration. In case of 8085, we can access only 256 input output ports, because there we have 8-bit data lines. So, these data lines are used to access 64 kilobyte, 64 kilo of IO port. 64 kilo means 6536. 65,536 input output port we can access in 8086 microprocessor. It provides 14 16-bit registers. It has a multiplexed address lines and data lines. And this A6 to A19, these are also multiplexed with status lines. It requires single phase clock with 33% duty cycles to provide internal timing. The most important advantage or feature of 8086 microprocessor is it has a 6 instruction byte as a queue. It has a queue which is used to store the prefetch instructions, and which can help to speed up the processing. So we can see this in detail how this is going to be done. So this is the most important feature of 8086, that it has a queue, instruction queue, which is used to store 6 instructions at a time, that is pre-phased instruction, while the second unit is going with execution. 8086 can support two modes of operation. One is minimum mode and one is maximum mode. So we can say the operation modes of 8086 are, there are two operation mode. One is one operating mode is minimum mode and one is maximum mode. Now the register organization, as I told you that 8086 has a powerful register organization as compared to 8085. So in case of 8086, we classify register organization into 4 groups. One is general purpose registers, one is index register, one is segment register, and one is status and control register. There are 4 general purpose register: AX, BX, CX and DX. Each of them are 16-bit, and we can say that AX, we can use AX as a group of 2 register, AH and AL. AH 8-bit, AL 8-bit. So if we need 8-bit data to be operated, then we can break this AX register into 2 groups, AH and AL. H for high, L for low bytes. And similarly, we can have BX, CX, DX. So, if we need to perform an operation on 8-bit data, then in that case, we can use, we can have 8 8-bit data registers. And if we want 16-bit, then we have 4 16-bit each general purpose register. Then if we want to store some address, or we have to index some data, then in that case we need some index register. So there are 4 index register. These are also 16-bit each. In case of microprocessor 8086, all the register are of same size, that is 16-bit each. We don't have a variation. So this 16-bit register, base pointer register, stack pointer register, source index and destination index, these registers are used to hold the address or of the memory location, or we can say the index registers. Then there are special case in case of 8086, that is segmentation. We will see what is this memory segmentation. So the memory is not considered as a single source. We are segmented our memory into 4-fold. So this segmentation is used so that we can have different location for address program, different location for data. So this segment register is used to hold the address of that particular segment where microprocessor wants to communicate. So in case of if microprocessor wants to get a program from a memory, then it has to we call that location as a code segment, and CS register is used to hold the starting address of this code segment. We separately store our data at some other location, and we use data segment to hold the address of that particular memory location where we have stored our data. Then we need, in our program, we need to have a memory location which is used as a stack. So in that case, we use stack segment. We define a particular memory location as a stack, and to point to this memory location, we use stack segment register, SS. If our data location where we have specified data segment, it is not sufficient, we need more data segment, then we have another segment that is known as extra segment, and ES is the register, that is extra segment register. It is used to hold the address of that particular segment. So our total memory, we have divided our total memory into different segments, and these segment registers are used to hold the starting or base address of that particular segment. Next group is status and control. In case of status and control, there are 2 things. One is flag and one is IP. This IP, instruction pointer, uh, some in some book it is considered in with indexing also only, because IP is the instruction pointer. It is used to program, it is used to hold the address of memory location from where microprocessor has fetched the instruction, or we can say it is similar to program counter register in our 8085. Like program counter is used to hold the address of next memory location from where we have to fetch the instruction. So similarly, in case of 8086, IP instruction pointer is a register which hold the address of next memory location, which from where the program has to be fetched. Flag. 8085 has also have flag register, which is used to give the status of the operation, that which type of operation is performed, arithmetic operation or logical, and after that what is the result, whether a carry is generated or whether the result is 0. So the status of the operation is defined in the flag register. Here also there is a flag register, but here the size of flag register is 16-bit. So as I told you, the general purpose register AX, which is also known as accumulator register, it is 16-bit and it is preferred to use in arithmetic, logical and data transfer or instruction, because it generates the shortest machine language code. So this AX register mostly used to hold one of the operand while performing any arithmetic, logical or data transfer operation, and it must be used in multiplication and division operation, and it is also used in IO operation. Whenever we have to read a data from input port or we have to write a data to any output port, then that data must be stored in AX. If we have to write a 8-bit data, then in that case we will prefer AL. We are not preferring AX. So in case of 8-bit operation, AL is doing the same thing which is done by for 16-bit by AX, that is accumulator. Next register is BX register, which is known as base register. It is mostly used as a general purpose register, but we can use it to hold some address also, base address. Next is CX. This register is known as count register, and mostly it is used to hold some count when we are going to perform some shift and rotate operation. So default count value is loaded in CX register, and mostly when we are going to perform some multiple tasking and we need to store some count value, then we can prefer CX register. Next is DX register, which is a data register, and this register is used in multiplication and division, and it is also used in IO operation, input output operation. In case of multiplication and division, 8086 have special instruction for multiplication and division, and in that case it will default refer AX and DX while performing a multiplication and division operation. Next group, as I told you, pointer and index register. We are having 3 pointer registers: stack pointer, base pointer and instruction pointer, and 2 index registers: source index and destination index. All these are 16-bit wide. We are not these registers are not used as LH bytes. Okay, like in case of AX, we are able to use it as AH and AL, but here we can't use SPH. This is not valid. Okay, we can use stack pointer register as a 16-bit wide only. It is used as a memory pointer. Like for example, if I have to point to some particular memory location, that address is stored in SI, then the content of that square bracket is shown like the content of memory location whose address is stored in SI is to be transferred to AH. IP is not under direct control of programmer. We can't like in case of program counter, we are not able to manipulate the content of program counter. Similar way, we are not able to manipulate the content of IP, because IP is used is working similar to that of program counter. Now the flag register. In case of 8086, this is the flag content. You can say it is as F0 to F15. Okay, 16-bit flag register. This is overflow flag, direction flag, interrupt enable flag, trap flag, sign flag, zero flag, auxiliary carry flag, parity flag and carry flag. These blue arrows, or you can say this purple color, carry, parity, auxiliary, zero, sign and overflow, these are the status flag. And these three, direction, interrupt enable and trap, these are the control flag. We already discussed about carry, auxiliary, parity, sign. These 5 flags are same as that of in 8085. This carry flag is set when result, that is carry is generated from MSB, the D7 or here D15th bit, and or a borrow is taken in case of subtraction operation. Parity, number of ones are even or odd, it is used to. Auxiliary, same here, auxiliary when the carry is generated from nibble, from one nibble, lower nibble to higher nibble, then this flag is set. Zero flag, when the result is zero, means the after arithmetic and logical operation, if the content of accumulator, whether it is AX or AL, is zero, then this flag is set. Sign flag, it always refer to the most significant bit of your accumulator. If that is set, then the sign flag is set, indicating that the content is negative. Overflow flag. Now, this is an important flag or a new flag which is introduced in 8086. In case of 8086, if MSB that carry is generated, okay, with D14th bit and it is not transferred to D15 bit, means from there it is not a carry is generated here. A carry is generated, it is transferred here. That in that case, overflow flag is set. Okay, in case of borrow, that is the case. Okay, direction flag, this flag is used when microprocessor is performing a string operation, when microprocessor is transferring a string of data from one location to another, then in this case this direction flag is used to decide whether the SI and DI register has to be go auto incremented mode or auto decremented mode. Okay, so in that case we have to set this direction flag either as to 1 or then auto incremented, 0 auto decremented. Interrupt enable mode, if this bit is 1, it indicates that the interrupts are maskable interrupts are now active and any interrupt can interrupt the normal functioning of 8086 microprocessor. If this bit is 0, then no interrupt can affect the working of 8086. Trap, whenever this bit is 1, microprocessor 8086 goes with single steps execution, means it can perform one it execute one instruction, then it goes to the subroutine which is or interrupt service routine which is related to the trap and execute that interrupt service routine, then comes back, then execute one instruction, means we can say single step execution is done if this trap flag is 1. Now the architecture part of 8086. The architecture of 8086 is divided into two groups. One is bus interface unit and another is execution unit. In case of bus interface unit, this part bus interface unit, this part is used to communicate with outside world, or you can say with memory or IO device. Okay, so whenever microprocessor has to read a instruction from memory, then a address has to be generated. So that address generation thing is done in this bus interface unit. Here the address generation mechanism is done. This part bus control logic, it will use some address generation mechanism to generate a particular address, and that address will travel on the address bus, and from that particular address a opcode is fetched, and that fetching operation, that opcode and operand, that is stored in this instruction queue. So this bus interface unit works separately, Execution unit, this execution unit is used to perform a execution part of that particular instruction. So whatever the first instruction fetched by microprocessor bus interface unit, that fetch and decoded and then given to execution unit for execution. While execution unit is performing the execution part, same time bus interface unit is fetching another instruction. So we can say a parallel processing is done, and this parallel processing or pipelining helps to speed up the working of 8086 architecture. We will see in next lecture the detail about the 8086 architecture. Thank you.